Good thing we're getting an early start to the day. Hey YouTube, it's your beekeeper here. It's sometime during the week. I think it's Wednesday night. I don't know, it doesn't matter. 8 o'clock, it's 64 degrees out. It's beautifully overcast. That ocean that's right on the other side of that bluff there is bringing in some fog. We've had some pretty warm days, high 80s, low 90s, and then the fog comes in. Anyway, just got back from working on an apartment, doing a little of this, a little of that on my second job, and now I'm going to spend 4 or 5 hours in the shop because it's relaxing to me. I'm going to put my music in my ears, not talk a lot. I'm just going to start machining stuff and things and bring you guys along for the ride. I'll do a voiceover if I feel there's anything that's pertinent information-wise. So what I'm going to do tonight is I'm going to work on the roller guides for the Yamasaw sawmill. See if I can chuck these things up in the lathe, spin them so I don't kill myself. I'm going to carve the inside pockets here for the bearings on both sides to be able to run these. And then I'm going to figure out what nut and bolts I'm going to use, and I'm probably going to have to, because that's a big old bolt. That's more than a ½ inch. I'm not sure what size that is. Offhand, let's see. I'm probably going to have to cut a bushing for that, which is fine. I can do that. It's 9/16. No. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 5/8. I can read. Alright, I'm going to sit you down. I'm going to get the lathe uncovered, get some lighting going in here so y'all can see what I can see, and I'll bring you back as we get cracking. This is how I think I'm going to do the roller guides. I used 1/2 inch bolts. Why did I use 1/2 inch bolts? 2 good reasons. First of all, I had 4 matching bolts in stock, right? And then secondly, I wanted to use nylock locking nuts, so you don't have to put a whole lot of tension on it, and you're certainly not going to worry about those things backing off. So those work. I cut the bushing / spacers that go from the front of this bearing face to the face of this bearing to this face of this bearing, right? So you'll never squeeze the bearings in together because these wheels are actually softer than I gave them credit for, and then you're not putting any pressure on this part of the bearing. You're not putting any inward pressure into here. So they hold in there quite nice. They roll freely. Life is good. I need to put bearings. This will be for the back of the blade so the blade doesn't get pushed back off the wheels. And just because I had 20 bearings to start with, I've already used 2, 4, 6, 8. I'm going to put 2. So I'm going to put one here, like that. So a little more lathe time, and then I got distracted, right? So Skippy's work, they were scrapping out these huge electrical motors. They had 7 motors they were scrapping out. They were used for commercial chillers, and I had my scrap metal guy go over there and pick up the motors themselves. But before that happened, Skippy chopped off the ends of the drive shafts for these things. So I got 7 of these cutoffs. What am I going to use them for? I don't really know. This steel is really hard. But what I did was I chewed them up on the lathe. I got 3 of the easy ones done. These are a little more, that's a big one, look at that. Yeah, and I dress these with a flapper wheel first, because if I come in and try to chip away at this with the lathe, it does this. Right, one of those little ones that chip my good carbide, I call it a thumbnail, but my good rounded carbide. It bums me out a little bit. But I had to put the 4-jaw chuck in here, and yeah, so I'm just turning them. So I got distracted, right? It's like, oh yeah, boy, stuff and things to do, and then these took forever because this steel is pretty hard. I don't know what kind of steel it is. I'm not a metallurgist, but I wanted to square them off. That way I can use them. They're probably just going to be used as weights, kind of like this pile of stuff and steel I have here. It's just handy to have heavy things to put stuff in position, or if I need to turn something out of something, it's good. But it beats having a chewed on edge like that. But these are those slugs I talked about, which will run in the unistrut. It'll all make sense. Today's Friday. I think I started to say I want to get these side rollers figured out tonight before it gets too much later, and then hopefully this weekend. And this all may be one video. This may be one video for y'all to see, but hopefully by this weekend I can have the rollers installed and functional in the sawmill, which is that way. So enough talking. Let's put some ears in and let's get working. So that's how we leave it for today. It's starting to get dark. I really don't want to pull the welding equipment out. Try to do this stuff before it gets dark. But I think that's going to work for blade guides. Like I said, I had 20 of these things laying around. And I still have 2, 4, 6, 8 left. I don't know, for something else. But the back rollers, and remember, these guys they're in a big oval, right? So they can slide up and down a little bit. So once I get this mounted and the blade at detention, I can fine tune, all of this can be fine tuned. But right now I just wanted to kind of see. I think that'll work. I'm going to leave all these bolts long for right now. I might trim these eventually. I ended up boxing it in, put a piece of steel down here, just because I don't know how much flex you're going to get in the strut. I don't think there's going to be that much back pressure on it, but you never know. It's better to overbuild than have it fall apart on you. So I welded back here, I welded on the face, and then I put a little box in there. However, I think that is going to be A-okay, kids. Like I said, tomorrow's Saturday. If everything goes right, these wheels are a little tight right now. If everything goes right tomorrow, we'll get these things mounted. I think I like the idea of the skateboard wheels. I don't know. They could be a complete mistake. Shoot. I don't know. I just make it up as I go along. I'll relax on the siren. Alright, anyway, I'm going to go inside, grab a bite to eat, call it a night. I don't feel like being out here too much later than we already are. But we're going to call that a ween. Yep. Alright. Tomorrow, or actually you'll see this on a different video. Anyway, gotta go, gotta run. See ya.